So, if we look into the future, what do you think you hope to see Athens become?
A great city.
A great city?
It's already a great city.
Yeah. So, what goals do you think you have for this term in this administration in here for Athens?
Do you know which term I'm in? That would be a good question.
Well, what term are you on?
This is my third term.
Third term.
So I've been doing this for 10 years. When I took office in 2016, my plan was to put the city of Athens on a different trajectory to where we enhanced our business community, our economic development. We really turned the corner on doing some interesting, innovative things here in the city of Athens, where we upheld the Paris Climate Accord, and all those things we've been able to accomplish in a sundry different ways. So to answer your question, I guess in short, would be to continue the growth and development of the city of Athens that we've been able to achieve and experience since 2016.
Okay. And what lessons do you think you got from the COVID pandemic that you think would help today in emergency?
Without a doubt, it's that we all need to lean in and work together. And we were able to do that in 2020 and April 4th when I pulled together the COVID-19 roundtable, to where we had people from the business sector, the religious sector, the university, the senior sector, the school districts, the financial sector. We had everybody who was on the Hollywood Squares. We probably had 30 attendees representing different segments of Athens, the Athens community. And the lessons learned is that we're stronger together. And so that's kind of the big lesson learned from that whenever things come up in the city of Athens, like affordable housing or being civil with each other, it's easier to bring in all the team players rather than sit there and try and problem solve all on your own. It doesn't work.
With a large student body at Ohio University, how does the city engage with student residents to ensure their voice is being heard in city planning and policies?
Our meetings are always open to the public. Anybody can come to a city council meeting. Anybody can come. You guys asked if you could meet with me, and I said yes. I meet with Student Senate at least once a year, if not more. I meet with the Graduate Student Senate once a year, if not more. I was just at the Friends of India event Saturday evening. So as a mayor, I view part of my responsibility is to show up and be consistent with showing up. I'm always listening to students. I encourage students to get involved in city boards and commissions whenever they can. So.
And what keeps you motivated as mayor? What do you think your biggest obstacles were getting into office, and how do you tackle those?
Biggest challenge getting into office? Well, I was unopposed my first run for mayor. I was a city council member for 4 years prior to that. City council at large, meaning I had to campaign citywide. We have 4 wards in the city of Athens, and they each have a council member representative and 3 at large. So there weren't obstacles. Everything. There's lots of challenges out there, but also for every challenge, there's a solution. And so that's what keeps me going. It keeps me going. You know, I served in the U.S. Air Force Air National Guard for 23 years. I was faculty at Ohio University for 18 years. You know, I know the city. I know what leadership is and what it looks like. I was an enlisted member for 8.5 years in the U.S. Air Force, and then I was an Air National Guardsman and became an officer in the Air National Guard. So with that comes management responsibility and leadership roles. So, you know, I'm no stranger to any of those things, and to walk away from having job security at Ohio University for the rest of my life, gave up my tenure and my faculty appointment to run for mayor, and was successful and became mayor in 2016. I just take all those skill sets and bundle them together, so it works for me. I think I'm a pretty effective mayor. I'm currently the president of the National League of Cities, which means I represent 19,500 cities, towns, and villages across the United States. A role that I cherish and take dead serious. You know, I've been pushing out statements to Congress, US Congress, telling them that they're failing at their job, get back to work and get this nation back working again when it comes to the federal government, open up the government. We had the success the other night where the Senate voted in favor of getting the budget going. Now it's before the House. I'm hopeful that the House today will sit there and vote of like, and get our federal government moving again, as it should be, as opposed to those who are getting paid, which right now is Congress, and yet the rest of those who work for the federal government, to include air traffic controllers, you name it, everybody in the Fed, except for them, they get paid.
Do you think that the government shutdown had a big impact on Athens?
It certainly did on individuals who are in need of the supplemental nutrition program, SNAP. Absolutely, you know, to see individuals have to access food pantries and food banks and other things, as opposed to getting their 200, give or take, dollar supplemental resources for food. Yeah, it's ridiculous. To see the government shut down for the longest period of time in history is just it's a failure on Congress's part. And
yeah, what steps do you think your administration is taking to help? I mean, we've seen the food baskets that you guys had out there and stuff like that, but with the government shutdown, what do you think your goals are to try and stop it and help the people of Athens?
Well, we've got a really strong food bank system here in Athens County and Athens. And I just had a meeting prior to this one with the president of Oblenus Hospital, Ohio Healthcare System. They are doing pantries even in the hospitals. There's the Bobcat cupboard in Baker Center, so the university people donate to those. You know, I can't take taxpayer dollars and turn around and distribute money to those who are in need. There's other organizations locally that are filling the void, but that's not sustainable at the end of the day. It's got to come from the federal government, through government programs, through HUD, Housing and Urban Development. So again, this comes back to us being able to pull the different sectors together to ensure that we can provide for those who are in most need. But at the end of the day, the federal government has failed, and will continue to fail until they get the government back open and running again.
So do you think your time at OU shaped how you govern and how you
Sure.
manage? How do you think that helped you?
I think helped me. I was on faculty senate for 7 years, which was interesting. Um, I don't know how much it shaped me. What I can say is that one of my goals as a council member, but more as the mayor, was to really improve the relations between the city and the university, and I think I've achieved that. I've been mayor through 4 university administrations already. President McDavis, President Nellis, President Sherman, and now President Gonzalez. And my being faculty at OU for 18 years, I know the system, I know how it works, I know who the players are, so that is certainly helpful for me, not only in governing, but just in continual relationship building.
Can you discuss any major infrastructure, public works projects currently underway, like
Sure.
roads, utilities, public transit, and your strategic vision for Athens?
Yeah, I mean, I can share 2 that are underway right now. The Stimson Avenue Bridge is being completely overhauled to where, for the first time ever, it will have a sidewalk and a sidewalk bike path on it. That never existed before. It was a 2-lane bridge with where people would walk across it or ride their bicycles across it, but at their own risk.
Yeah.
So now it'll have a dedicated lane for pedestrians and cyclists. Plus, it'll be improved. The lighting is going to be improved on it, and a number of different things. So it'll actually be an attractive gateway into the city. The other is the 682-56 roundabout, which will be our 4th roundabout in the city of Athens. Which, if you think about it from an environmental standpoint, you are doing a lot to reduce your carbon emissions if you don't have traffic lights at intersections to where cars are idling yet spewing out exhaust.
And I think that the city would be saving money with the roundabouts not having to pay for the lights or anything that were there.
That's minimal, but yes, to that point. Plus, it increases traffic flow. They're safer because anytime you have a signalized intersection that is a 4-way or greater, the risk of having serious injury because of a collision, someone running a red light, then, whereas a roundabout, you don't. You have fender benders on roundabouts, but not fatalities and not serious injury accidents. You have someone bumped into someone else's fender, and okay, well, that's terrible, but at least it wasn't a life-threatening thing. So the 682-56 roundabout will be a great improvement. And with that, we've done a lot. We did West Union, we did East State Street, we did Stimson Avenue. We do our annual paving and repaving. So we've been able to achieve quite a lot in the 10 years that I've been mayor that was not getting done prior to me becoming mayor.
How is this city managing growth or population shifts while maintaining quality of life for longer term residents?
Say that again. Yeah.
I'm sorry. How is the city managing growth while maintaining quality of life for longer term residents?
Well, in my opinion, the 2 are synonymous. That you attract people by enhancing quality of life in your community, making it a place that people want to live, work, and play. And our bike path is a big attractant. The environment here is attractive. It's beautiful in Southeast Ohio. I don't know. Are you 2 from the Athens area originally?
Yeah, I'm from. We are.
So you're in both. So your town is Athenians. It's, you go outside of Athens anywhere, north, you go to Columbus, you go up to Cleveland, go to Cincinnati. They're great cities, but it's cool here. I mean, it's gorgeous. right? You know, we have the Hocking Hills all around us, we have the Wayne National Forest around us, we have the Bailey's Trail System, which is 88 miles of purpose-built mountain bike running trails. You know, that's attractive to people. So to answer your question, I think our population growth is enhances the quality of who we are and what we do. Our biggest challenge right now is affordable housing, is getting enough housing stock for people to live in. It is difficult getting good developers to come into the city of Athens and develop. There's buildable space in the city. It's just getting developers to come and build more homes, but keeping them to where they're affordable.
So with that, how do you balance development, new investment, new businesses with preserving the character identity of Athens? And there's one thing I'd like to comment on. Athens has seen a growth of vape shops, and how do you think that those are compared to the family businesses that are in Athens?
I think they're terrible. I'm going to call them for what they are. I mean, to see, we can't dictate, you know, who becomes a tenant in the uptown area, or anywhere in the city of Athens when we have business districts. We did have the ability to restrict the number of pot dispensaries here in the city of Athens to where they can't be within a mile of each other. And so that means that the city of Athens, the max we could have is like 5 dispensaries. We have 3 right now. But for vape shops, you know, again, unless we were to somehow restrict something similar to what I just discussed with you, through the regulatory process, and that's city council. You know, we have the 3 traditional branches of government. We have the judicial branch, which really is the law director. Then we have the legislative branch, which is city council, and then the executive branch, which is me. We clearly don't need any more vape shops on Court Street, you know, or in the uptown area. You know, it's just, to me, it's just ridiculous. You know, we do have the ability to somewhat regulate bars, because oftentimes, you know, well, all the time, Department of Commerce, you know, if someone wants to open up a new bar in the city of Athens or whatever, it does go before city council. City council has the ability to sit there and deny. However, when you deny, you're really calling for a hearing with the chamber, or with the Department of Commerce. Oftentimes, the Department of Commerce for the state of Ohio, bars, liquor sales are huge revenue drivers for them. So, you know, it's we've had one hearing with liquor control, Department of Commerce way back when. I don't even think, I think I was on city council. And it was when Chipotle Uptown wanted to have a liquor permit so they could sell beer and margaritas with their food. And council challenged it. And so it ended up being a hearing, and during the hearing, it was very clear that Department of Commerce is going to do whatever the Department of Commerce wants to do. It's like,
so with the bars, what resources do you think Athens might need or already have during, say, block party or stuff like that when students are out and drinking?
what resources do we have?
Well, yeah, what resources do you have, and what do you think the city might need to help combat violence and stuff like that within the city?
Oh, well, we have a police department. That helps us combat violence. You know, the upside of bars, and I'll use fest season, which is always in the spring with Mill Fest, High Fest, Palmer Fest. To where we have gotten to the point where we are able to basically have those fests stop around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they do. And the upside is then what typically happens is then the students go to the bars. Well, the bars are controlled environments. So it's great. Let the bars kind of control things, and that way police are operating as they always do, to where if they're needed because of something that's happening outside a bar or inside a bar, the police department responds and manages from that point. We've also kind of turned the corner when it comes to the Halloween block party, to where we now kind of own it. Back in the, in the 1990s, 1980s, 1990s to early 2000s, the Halloween block party was something that happened to the city. Now it's something that happens with the city, so we're able to better manage it than had been done in the past, to where arrests are way down when it comes to the Halloween block party. They're fine. Things around midnight, everything kind of shuts down because we have the ability to shut it down. In the past, it was very challenging to try and clear the streets and everything with the Halloween block party, but a lot has changed. A lot has changed with just student behavior from Ohio University. I think if I were to look back on positives out of COVID, one of them was we ended up having 2 full years to where students were, this is terrible for them, but 2 years where students were taking all their classes online. And so there weren't fests during those years. There wasn't a Halloween block party during those years. And so with that comes a lot of historical memory that is missing for students. So they really didn't know what things were like in 2018, 2017, 2016 when it came to those events, which were, again, being managed better anyway on our end. But, it was where it was almost created a reset for things that happened in the high density student housing areas.
And if you could give one message to the students and residents of Athens, what would that message be?
Be simple.
What about young student journalists like us who come to interview people like you and
report with integrity, report on facts, not conjecture. You had an opening statement, which is fine, and it was basically you're asking me about the future. You went in a good direction because I was sitting there thinking, man, if you're going to ask me to kind of speculate on things, I'm not one who speculates. I don't live in a world of hypotheticals. For me, I have to deal with the here and now, and I like doing that. So my thoughts for you as journalists is report with integrity, report on what is fact, do your homework on fact checking things. Don't report off of what you might see on Facebook or on X or on social media, and always report in a balanced way, in that if group X, person X, is talking about group Y or person Y, make sure you reach out to person Y or group Y or whatever to find out what's their side of that story. Too often I'm seeing articles that come out that they're one-sided, and it's like, really, so you're talking about the mayor or you're talking about the city or whatever, and without actually speaking directly to the city or the university or whatever. I mean, to pick something. That's reporting responsibly.
Yeah, I think our hardest challenge in making this group in the newspaper that we started was we're not political. I mean, I think that's one of the things that hurts journalism is if they pick one side.
Yeah,
We've
true.
tried to state the facts and let the people decide how they want to interpret them.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think we have any more.
No, that was it. It was.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Is it better than DeWine?
I don't know. Just,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
thanks so
Good
much,
luck,
sir.
guys, yeah.